welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Porter.
And I'm Charlotte Porter.
And what are we going to talk about this week, Charlotte?
We've got a couple of things to talk about. The biggie being what's happening up in Perth next weekend.
What is happening up in Perth?
I don't know. A little thing called Tabletop Scotland.
Yep.
Might have heard of it.
Yep. And we are the media partner.
Official media partner.
Yeah, media partner for Tabletop Scotland. So we're maybe going to talk a bit about what we're looking forward to, what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But first of all, interesting little bit of news you stumbled upon.
Yeah, so I had read about, I can't remember exactly where, but one of the Magic Grand Prix, somebody who was expelled from one of the games because his cards were fake.
Well, he was expelled from the tournament,
The
wasn't
tournament,
just the game?
yeah, the tournament. Because his cards were fake. He was not aware that his cards were fake. He's been very open and honest about it. Turns out that he'd used cards from a friend's deck, and the friend was not aware that they were fake.
Yeah.
And they were, I don't know much about Magic. I'm probably not the best person to talk about this. They weren't common cards, but they weren't rare cards. So
Yeah.
they were ones that you would pay money for. But apparently, just looking into it, it's quite a big market actually for.
Well, some of the rarer Magic cards sometimes go for tens of thousands,
Yeah,
so it stands to reason that there would be a counterfeit market for that. Because I know that that horrible little American guy that was quite high up in the pharmaceutical industry. Is it Martin Shkreli?
Yes.
Shkreli? I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I know that he at one point was looking at getting into the Magic market, much to the disdain of a lot of the hobbyists. But it's a huge thing, and I suppose that it's worth saying that the thing about good counterfeits is that you don't know that it's a counterfeit.
Because they had the pictures. And I wouldn't have known. I don't know anything about Magic cards.
No.
He didn't know, and it was just that they did like a spot check in between rounds, and it was one of the judges that noticed it, one of the adjudicators.
One eagle-eyed adjudicator.
And they showed them together, and I can't even tell now what the difference is, but obviously the adjudicator knew what was right and what was not.
From what I understand, quite a lot of people were quite vocal about the fact that he'd been.
Yeah, they were saying that he should have been able to construct a deck and stuff like that. But like I said, he's put out some tweets about it and stuff, and said that he understood why it was done. He understood what was going on.
Well, this is the thing, right? Is that ultimately it's a business, and they need to protect their intellectual property. And I know from a couple of people that are a bit more informed in the law than I am, that very often what can happen is that if you do not contest instances where your IP is in danger of being ripped off, you're in danger of losing control of it altogether. So it's for sometimes it can seem like these companies are being a bit callous, but it's because they have to fight to protect it a lot of the time.
Interestingly enough, we came across some other counterfeits recently. One I did not even know was a thing anymore. Our friend is getting married down in London, so I had sent back the RSVP saying that we would come, and then he phoned to let us know that it had been intercepted because it was a counterfeit stamp.
Yeah, he had to pay the postage on it. I was quite embarrassed,
stamps.
But he took it all in good humour. He thought it was really funny, and he said, because I really queried the thing, because I was like, he'd said that, are you sure about this? And the guy's like, no, we checked it, but we were all in agreement. Like, who counterfeits stamps anymore?
Yeah, like 1920s. Yeah, who does that? But it's like I'm sure I bought them out of the post office because I'm pretty old school. I always have a little booklet of stamps on me just in case, and it was one of those stamps that I'd used. And also I had to phone Michael Mordor, one of our winners from our Twitch stream, to make sure that he got his thing, because I'd realised I'd sent it off with the stamps as well. I was like, oh no, that's the last thing we need. But he was fine. He was fine. They didn't bother.
Apparently the London sorting office is very thorough about these things.
Yeah. So
nothing gets past them.
Counterfeit stamps, who knew?
Yeah. Like you're saying, it felt a bit like, it's like, just check the date here, make sure it's not 1920 anymore.
Obviously knew about it historically. I wouldn't have thought it was a thing now. Now currency's digital and stuff like that.
And it's...
Mind you, stamps are expensive now. So actually...
They are expensive, but at the same time, like you're saying, like a lot of big companies, they pay all their own postage in advance, so it's just rubber stamped a lot of the time. It is weird, but weird. There we go. We get caught out with the counterfeit as well, so it's easier than you think. But you were saying on the topic of counterfeits.
There's been I can't remember exactly the game, but somebody was saying that they'd got it as a present and they weren't sure, and they were comparing it to, because it was an expansion for a game, and as far as they were aware, it was basically coming in a box. It was the exact same dimensions as the core set, just an updated artwork really, but the box it came in was different, and there was some text that was different, and also the languages on the instruction sheets were different as well.
Oh, okay.
So they think that it's maybe came from China.
It's maybe I know that there are a lot of counterfeit tabletop games. I'm not just talking about like the collectible stuff like Magic and things like that.
Well, Sushi Go.
Yeah, the counterfeit Sushi Go is quite a common one. Secret Hitler is a big one.
Really?
Yeah, there's loads of counterfeit Secret Hitlers. That was Sylvester, our guest for this week. He just came over to meow at us and then run away.
He wants to be on the podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of counterfeit copies of Secret Hitler. I'm going to say something potentially an unpopular opinion here, but I do feel that some of the games companies inadvertently facilitate the game piracy by not producing enough of the games. Yeah. And Secret Hitler's a great example of that. You know, there's maybe a certain argument that these companies do want to keep their games somewhat exclusive. You know, games like Gloomhaven, Seventh Continent, that sort of thing. But at the same time, the tabletop hobby is growing and growing every year, and the genuine copies rocket in price. Yeah. So it almost forces people. It doesn't force them. That's wrong. There's always a choice, but it is pushing people towards the pirate market.
And some pirates, you wouldn't know they were counterfeit, because if you were just buying a game, you hadn't maybe researched it. You're maybe finding it on, because I think actually some of them are on Amazon. Pretty
much every copy of Secret Hitler on Amazon is a Chinese fake.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them because it's a really popular game. Yeah. And I dare say actually that there are more people own fake copies of that game than they do genuine ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they did such a limited run of it. But I guess it's a growing pain of the hobby, I guess, and I suppose it's indicative in a way that it's thriving, that it's growing, that you do have that pirate market. So in a perverse way, it's kind of a good sign that it's there.
Yeah, and I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's indicative of growth. Anyway, that's the thing. Let us know your thoughts on counterfeit games in the pirate market.
Have you been landed with one that you weren't aware of?
To my knowledge, I don't think we've been landed with one.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth saying again that if you want to absolutely avoid the risk of getting a counterfeit game, go through your friendly local gaming store, because they go through distributors and specialists for these sorts of things. The problem you have with the internet and Amazon is that it's very easy for anyone to put any sort of product up for sale on those sorts of sites. So buy local.
Well, having said that, that's just reminded me, with that Magic player, the cards were actually bought off of TCG Player.
Yeah.
Which I believe is like a marketplace for trading cards.
Yes, it's buy, swap and sell.
Yeah, but obviously they've got no
that's the
control
problem, right?
over or no sort of authority over what is being sold at that point. Yeah.
There you go. In other news...
Well, we've maybe got some updates to make just in general about... Because I'm thinking that I maybe haven't announced it, but I am leaving my job. And for any of our patrons will know that one of our goals was hopefully that I would be able to work more focusedly on the podcast.
Yep.
We're not quite at that stage yet, but we are getting there. But we've already started taking steps. So I am leaving my job as a community mental health worker, which is... heartbreaking, but it's the right thing to do at the right time.
I think so.
In order that I can sort of have a couple of wee part-time jobs and spend more time on the podcast, spend more time just,
try and improve things a bit.
It's very much the more energy you put in, the more energy you get back.
Yeah.
But on that, I have picked up my first little job. in and around that. So I am now, officially I can announce that I am now part of the Play Fusion team. I am one of the demoers for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions.
And Lightseekers.
And Lightseekers, of course, as well, yes. Yep. So I will be floating about at the demos, teaching
not
people.
Literally, it's not going to be like an Exorcist effort with Charlotte floating about and all these cards flying everywhere.
But it would be thematic, like death.
It is a figure of speech.
Yes. So I will be there. I've got a couple coming up actually over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be at Big Dog Books in Perth on the Saturday the 8th, I believe. Yep, Saturday the 8th of September. So if you want to come along and demo Champions, please feel free to do so. Come along and join us. And then I'm going to be at Comic Crazy as well later on in the month. Yeah. So come along and find out more.
As much as you are working with Play Fusion, it's important to emphasise here that Unlucky Frog Gaming and Play Fusion
we have nothing,
are separate entities.
Which, because also I think I'll need to maybe take a step back from doing maybe some Unlucky Frog / Champion stuff potentially,
possibly,
because we don't want there to be any confusion, any conflict of interest, and to be entirely transparent with people.
Absolutely. So that having been cleared up, Age of Sigmar Champions has been with us for close to a few weeks now.
Yeah, 2nd of August.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the game?
I'm really enjoying it. I think it's quite different for me actually as a demoer.
Yeah.
It's the first game. It's probably the first game that I've had to learn inside and out.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously I need to know the mechanics. I need to know any question that is thrown at me, and I know that there's still some. Obviously, there'll be things I'm not quite sure on, or I don't know yet.
Well, this is the thing that I've been finding quite funny, is that normally it's me and Josh that are swatting up on the rules and being like, actually, this is how you do this, but you've been turning around and telling us, no, you've been doing that wrong.
Yeah, and it's more the fact that it's been like, oh, we've been playing this wrong all this time.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, that makes sense. So it's been interesting from that way, because I feel as if probably actually this is the first time I've been a honed player, and as much as I'm not playing competitively or anything like that, I feel as if I have a really good grasp of the game.
But playing competitively is just one way to play these games. That maybe sounds like it's the taking part that counts, but no, I'm a great believer in that. And as much as tournament play is very appealing to a certain type of player, at the same time, I mean, like the way that we play Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the tabletop miniatures game, is very different from your standard tournament play. Yeah, you know, we come up with all these stories like, why are these two guys fighting, and like, well, you know, what crazy rules can we throw in here? We approach it, I think we said before in the podcast, almost like an RPG but scaled up to like an army-wide game. Yeah. And where you maybe can't do that with Champions, I'm pretty sure we're going to start seeing other formats emerging, other interesting ways to play, because as fun as it can be to dream up a really powerful deck, that gets boring quite quickly. Well,
what we actually saw when we got our Founders Pack through is that there are some sort of cards in the booster packs which add very different dynamics to the starter decks when they're added in, so you can totally, you know, change the way you play.
So the starter decks
just give you a flavour.
They give you a good amount of bulk cards, and, you know, like you say, a wee taster of what the factions may be capable of. And I think it's good in that it, as you say, it does give people a sense of what each Grand Alliance can do. But I felt that the Destruction deck was streets ahead of the other ones in terms of power level. Yeah,
or just the way it plays when it's played right, when it rolls out, when all the combos stack, when it all just works.
I actually felt a little bit like Destruction plays itself sometimes, because it's like you do one thing and then it just sets off this whole chain of events and then everyone's dead.
So what have you been playing?
I've been playing as Order. I really enjoy the mechanics that you get from that. There's a lot of board control. Order have access to a lot of beast units that do some quite interesting things as well. So where Destruction is almost like an avalanche of raw strength, with Order it's all about having your units bolster one another and taking control of the board, which I feel like that's a huge flavour win, because in the Age of Sigmar universe, that's pretty much the role that Order takes. That it's this group of people that are almost always up against overwhelming odds, and overcome those overwhelming odds with superior discipline and strategy.
They're very disciplined. That's probably the word I would use to describe them. They're a very disciplined army, because the Destruction aren't. Destruction are a rabble.
Oh, they're just an absolute
they're just an absolute rabble.
Like in some of the earlier Games Workshop fluff, it's very apparent that the orcs and goblins are based on football casuals.
Yeah.
So it is like they just rock up and start wrecking the joint. And then Chaos, it's all about...
That's what I've been playing.
It's all about sacrificing to gain greater power.
Because I tweaked my deck to make it more Zinchi, because anybody that knows, I'm more of a Zinchi person than a Khorne or Nurgle or anything like that. So I've made mine, I've put some more wizards in it, and I've made it more spell heavy, but still the same mechanic. It means I can heal more though.
I actually saw on one of the Facebook groups that I'm in that there was a girl talking about a game she had against Chaos, and she said she did manage to counter it, but at one point there was a whole load of stuff queued up in the Chaos deck waiting to do like 20 damage to her. And she did like a wee sort of wide-eyed. Yeah, the thing with Chaos is, although you're sacrificing units, some of the damage you can do is insane. There's a Chaos spell that just does 10 damage. It does. I think it does like 3 or 5 damage to you, but you're getting 10 damage out of it. And there's a lot of, like, I think there's a blessing. The last corner of your spells do.
It's
horrible.
Fortune,
but again, that's kind of how Tzeentch plays in the tabletop game. Where it's just a disgusting amount of damage. It's like magical artillery almost. And then Death, there's a lot of stuff that lets you recycle your units, which is great. There's a lot of stuff that lets you unnaturally prolong your life,
which is very fitting of the Death units.
So they all do feel quite fluffy, as much as I do think there is going to be a fiercely competitive side to the game. I do think there is scope for something that's a bit more narrative driven, rather than trying to mix in the most powerful units in a faction. You could maybe do a format where it's you pick like one tag, and all of your units have to fall into that. So it's, if you're doing a Death deck, you have to do a vampire deck. You can't run vampires and Risen. You can't cherry pick what you want to do. And you could do similar things with the other factions. That's something I think I'm quite interested in exploring. Anyway, Tabletop Scotland.
Tabletop Scotland, the first ever Tabletop Scotland is on the horizon.
It's almost less. Well, when this goes live, it'll be less than a week.
Yes.
So they've sold well over 600 tickets.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Which is it is an incredible achievement for the first year of any convention.
Definitely.
I really don't know what to expect, because I think it will be good.
Yes.
I don't have any reservations about whether or not it will be good. It's just that we
don't have anything to compare it to. It'll be our first convention. And I think that is something in itself, because we went to Aircon, that was the 4th Aircon, and all the communication we'd had with people around Aircon was all about, this is what it was like last year, or this is what works well at Aircon, or this is what, this is what happens. We don't have that for Tabletop Scotland.
No.
So it's new, it's exciting, it could be anything.
Yeah. So there's not really any expectations of it. And that, I don't think that's a bad thing.
We don't expect anything of it.
No, that's not. I do expect it to be fun, but I don't have concrete expectations of what it's going to be like, because it is the first year. And it'll be interesting over the years to come to see what sort of shape it takes. Because I do think it's going to go from strength to strength.
Definitely. They're starting strong though. That's incredible.
So what are you excited for?
I don't know. Actually, just everything. I think it's that thing like you said, that there's not one thing I'm overly excited about. I've been chatting to people, and already I've arranged to meet up with folk, because again, there's not really an opportunity for us always to meet. There's not an opportunity for us always to to have an opportunity to be in the same place at the same time. And
you're a lot more sociable than me.
Yeah.
But right away, what I was thinking is like I might be able to get some of the Gen Con stuff.
Well, that's you, but I'm just like, oh, people, I love people. Let's see people.
You're like people, and I'm like stuff.
So yeah, but also we're going to be quite busy.
Yeah.
Because we are hosting a couple of events. We've also got a competition that will be running. I also believe Josh will be in the
Pandemic Survival Qualifier
as one of the judicators.
He'll be wearing a lab coat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what events are we doing? Why don't we give?
Well, we're going to be comparing a couple of seminars.
Yes.
Michael from Maple Like Us, he's going to be doing an accessibility seminar on the Saturday. Bez Shariari, friend of the show, is going to be doing a board game design 101 seminar. Again, we'll probably be comparing that. And we're going to be doing a Room D100+1.
Oh, what is that? Pray tell.
So it's our totally original idea for a panel show where we will be interviewing a group of people from I think it's all UK people.
Yep.
People from the tabletop
gaming industry
from across the UK will be arguing to have a peeve of theirs relating to tabletop gaming put into the eponymous Room D100+1.
So we haven't announced who's going to appear on our panel. Can we do that? Do that now?
I think we can, yeah.
Exciting. Drum roll.
So it's going to be 3 waves of 3. The first topic is going to be gaming culture.
Okay, interesting.
Okay? And the first 3 panelists we're going to have on that are Ian McAllister of the Giant Brain, Steve Fetis, the owner and operator of Common Ground Games in Stirling. I love that store. It's one of the best in the UK, I would say. Check it out if you're ever in Stirling. And someone called Charlotte Rose Porter.
Who's that? That'll be me.
That's you.
On the panel.
Yep.
On the panel.
So you guys, we're not going to reveal what those peeves are on until the day, but you guys are going to be discussing things that irritate you about gaming culture specifically.
You might have guessed. I think I've maybe spoken about mine before. On the podcast.
No, secret.
Okay, keep the secret.
So if you can't make Tabletop Scotland, first of all, I want to know why.
Yep.
Second of all, if you really can't make it, we will be broadcasting these after the date, so you will be able to watch them. But it would be nice if you could come along.
We'd love to see you there.
So the second wave is going to be game design.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be what irritates these guests about game design.
So who are these guests?
So for that we have Matt Coward of the University of York Sociology Department.
We had Matt on an episode a couple of months ago.
Yep, he's doing a lot of research into tabletop gaming, particularly conventions.
Yeah.
And how they contribute to community values, and obviously with an emphasis on the sociological perspective. So he's going to be there. Yep. We're also going to have Kat from I Play Red and Peter from the Drawn to the Flame podcast.
Yes.
Those 3 guys are going to be arguing to get a particular element of game design that they really hate into Room D100+1. So it can be particular mechanics, it can be trends in game design, that sort of thing. So that's the second wave. And the final wave...
What's the final wave, Ben?
The final wave is going to be specific games.
Oh, so controversial.
I think it is going to be quite controversial.
So who's on that panel?
So we have Duncan Cowan of Tabletop Scotland.
Yep,
Duncan's been on the show before. We're going to have Sarah Kennington from One Free Elephant. She's never been on the show. She will be in the future.
Yes. Spoilers.
She's going to be on the panel as well.
Yes, good.
And we're also going to have a wizard called Richard Simpson.
Are you sure he's a wizard?
He's not a wizard.
He's not a wizard. Because we're not wizards.
He claims he's not. He claims he's not a wizard. I mean, we could just be taking his words.
Is he a mage?
Well, this is it, right? He says he's not a wizard. He could be a mage. Could be a sorcerer.
Magician.
Could be a warlock.
Who knows?
Magician.
Who knows? Richard knows.
Richard knows, and he's not telling.
Anyone.
That's all I know. So you make up your own mind about the guy based on that knowledge.
Yep. And also based on the game that he's going to try and put in. So come along and find out what that is.
Yep, I know what it is.
You know what it is.
It's controversial.
The other thing is, I don't know what a lot of other people are putting in because I'm on the panel. Ben has kept it
I know what
hidden from me.
I am the oracle of Room D100+1. I know everything. I'm the architect.
Okay, right.
You know, like the guy in the Matrix.
Yeah. Right, come on, bring it back, Ben.
But I don't look like Colonel Sanders.
You don't look like you're not sitting in a room full of TVs. So let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back. Yep.
Back to reality, Ben.
Back to Tabletop Scotland.
Yes.
Focus.
So, quick turnaround after that, we are also hosting the pub quiz at Tabletop Scotland.
So, as long as you have a ticket and are going to be at Tabletop Scotland Saturday night, you can get into this.
Yes.
You don't need to book. Just rock up on the night. We will furnish you with a sheet
of paper and a pen.
A pen. Pushing the boat out there. But we want it back. We want the pen back. Okay. People always steal them at these things, don't they? Yeah.
Secure them to the table.
Yeah, like in the bank.
Yeah.
Because they needed their pens chained. Yeah. Why did banks need to do that? Surely they, of all people, can afford to have surplus pens.
Oh, but pens are a hot commodity.
Yeah. Anyway, we will lend you a pen.
So can we don't want to give too much, but can we reveal maybe one or two round names to give people a feel for what's going to happen on the night?
I can tell you there's a geography round.
Okay.
Thrilling stuff.
Okay. I also heard, is there a...
There may or may not be a round called Board Game or Porno.
And what would that involve?
I'm not telling you. You'll have to come along and find out.
Okay.
But that's not necessarily the most controversial name for a round we've got.
No.
But come along. We will have some prizes.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah, you can win some Unlucky Frog merchandise.
And maybe some other stuff too.
So get your team together. Some of the questions are quite hard.
Yes.
A little squad of gaming brainiacs got together to put these questions together.
Yeah, I would have said pixies.
Pixies?
Gaming pixies got together.
So you think me, Josh and Duncan are gaming pixies?
Damn right.
So there you go. A pub quiz
brought
produced
to
by
you
gaming pixies. Yeah. So that's going to be in the bar.
Yep, the cafe bar.
At the Jurors Centre on the Saturday night. And it is not suitable for children, in case you'd not already deduced that fact.
No children, no phones, no Google, and no cheating.
If you are using a phone in between rounds, we will break your fingers.
Well, I was thinking we could maybe just send somebody to the naughty corner.
Or that. We could do that.
We'll get a dunce cap for them and everything.
But pub quizzes it's pretty serious.
Yep.
I think that Parliament needs to get through a bill where they're allowed to break fingers when people are cheating in pub quizzes.
We'll take that. Let's go speak to our local councillor then.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll love that. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah.
Tabletop Scotland. So we're excited. You should be excited. It's going to be a great event.
Yeah.
That's about all we've got time for this week.
Is.
But we're going to have a glut of content coming to you guys.
Yep.
In the run up to and after Tabletop Scotland.
Yep.
So if you can't make it, if you're in a remote corner of the world, we're going to bring Tabletop Scotland to you.
Yeah.
Because that is how much you mean to us.
Because we love you. We love you dearly.
Stretching it there.
No, I love you. I love everyone. I love every single one of our listeners.
I care deeply about them, but I don't love them.
You're just telling everyone you don't love them?
I'm just kidding, I love them.
That's good.
Yeah. There we go.
Good.
Right, folks. Thank you for tuning in.
And we'll see you at Tabletop Scotland.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, it's Josh from the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast here. Thanks for listening to us, and now be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for the Unlucky Frog Gaming. You can also show your support for Unlucky Frog through Patreon. Be sure to check out our website, unluckyfrog.com to find out more.
Was that so hard?
Look,